my kindergarten dolphins. I hope everyone had a lovely long weekend and a great Valentine's Day. We are going to begin this morning with some calendar. So we are going to talk about today's date. Now yesterday we did not have school. So yesterday was the 15th and it was also a holiday. That holiday was President's Day, where we celebrate all of the presidents that we have had in the United States before, and especially those who have already passed away. So yesterday we didn't have school because that's a national holiday, and it was the 15th. So now we're going to think about a number that is one more than 15. So we had 15. Now today it is, what's one more than 15? It is 16. Today is the 16th. But the 16th of what? What month are we in right now? Let's sing our months of the year song and see if we can remember all the month names and which one we're in right now. January, February, March, and April, May, June, July, and August, September, October, November, December. These are the months of the year. So we sang all of our month names. Last month we were in January. Now we're in February. Very good. Today is February 16th. Now I want to point out really quick, today is also a holiday, and tomorrow is also a holiday. We've got so much going on. Today is a holiday called Mardi Gras. That is the day that we celebrate before we go into the more serious time of Lent, which begins on Ash Wednesday, tomorrow. So I'll talk a little bit more about Mardi Gras and what that means and where it comes from when we do our journal. But just know that today is a holiday that we're celebrating. Tomorrow will also be a very important holiday in our church, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. Now we know it's February 16th and the year is 2021. So let's see what we can do with our date today. We're going to write it down and begin with that word February, our month name. We are going to add the 16 for today's date, February 16th, and the year 2021. We can also write this with numbers. It is the second month of the year. It is the 16th day of the second month, and the year is 2021. All right, let's move on to our days of the week. Okay, let's start with our days of the week song. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the days of the week. Okay, well, we started our week on on a different day. We didn't have school on Monday. So yesterday was Monday, but we didn't have school. So that means that today, our first school day of the week is Tuesday. Today is Tuesday. All right, now if today's Tuesday, that means tomorrow will be Wednesday. Very good. Tomorrow will be Wednesday. Okay, let's move on to our weather report. And we'll begin with our weather song. What's the weather? What's the weather? What's the weather like today? Tell me, kinder, what's the weather? What's the weather like today? Well, today it's sunny, but a little bit cloudy. I'm going to go with partly sunny today. So I'm going to do my cloud and my sun. And today it is warm. It's not super hot, but it's not super cold, so I'm going to go with warm. Let's move on to our place value and letter practice of the day. Okay, so I added in our numbers 15 to 19, and today we got number 17, and we're going to review letter L. Okay, let's begin with number 17. So I'm going to write it. We're going to begin with a 1, that's in the tens place, and a 7 in the ones place. Now remember, my 1 in the tens place tells me what? That tells me how many groups of 10 I have. And if I have a 1 there, that means I have 1 group of 10. So I'm going to make that by filling in my 10 frame. And today I think I'll do that with shapes. I'll use a triangle. So I'm going to make 10 triangles for a group of 10. And now that I have my group of 10, am I done? Not done, because I need to look at my ones place. Now I notice that in my ones place, I have a 7. I have a 7. Now that 7 tells me what? It tells me that I need to add 7 ones. I need to add 7 ones to my group of 10. So now I have a group of 10 plus 7 more. So I'm going to make 7 more triangles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So now I have 10 and 7, and together that makes 17. So that's how I would build 17 using place value. Let's move over to our letter of the day, which is letter L. Now we should already know how to write letter L because we learned about it with our friend Lily. But just to review, when we make letter L, we're only using straight lines. We start up at the strawberry line, make a straight line down to the chocolate, and then across the chocolate line. Down and across, down and across. I'm not floating my letter L, and I'm not going below my chocolate line. Now when I make lowercase, very easy, just a straight line down from the strawberry line to the chocolate line. Just like you're writing a number 1. That is lowercase l. Lowercase l. Now letter L says like in the word lollipop. So I'm going to draw a lollipop, just like you might get at Disneyland. And that is going to be my picture for letter L. All right, let's move on to talk about our journal entry today. Now, like I mentioned this morning when we went over calendar, today is a holiday. Now, this holiday is called Mardi Gras, or some people might call it Fat Tuesday. It celebrates the day before Lent begins. Now, tomorrow is Ash Wednesday, and our season of Lent begins. And when we celebrate Mardi Gras, celebrating that we do before we go into a more serious and prayerful reflection time, just like Jesus did when he went into the desert for 40 days, which is what we remember during the season of Lent. So a lot of places around the world celebrate Mardi Gras by kind of doing lots of fun celebrations before that more serious time. So they might do this by having parades, by eating yummy meals, by wearing bright colors, by hearing music. And one of the best known celebrations of Mardi Gras happens in a city called New Orleans, which is actually where I went to college. So today I would like to show you a little bit about one of the best parts of Mardi Gras, which is the parades. And one of the cool parts of the parades is actually the marching bands. So today I'm going to show you a story all about marching bands, and then we're going to write a journal entry where you imagine that you're in a marching band. And I want to know, what instrument would you play if you were in a marching band? We're going to hear about all the different types of instruments that are part of marching bands. And then I want to know, what would you play? And we're going to start the sentence with, I would play. Then you're going to write an instrument name here, okay? So make sure as you listen to the story, you're making note of the names of the instruments, all right? Okay, so let's get started with our story.
Okay, today's story is called Join the Band by Judy Woodburn. Here comes a band. Marching bands play music while they move. So see, they have their instruments and they're going to be marching and playing their instruments. It's fun to be in a marching band. So we've got some different instruments here. We're going to hear all about them. If you are in a band, you get to wear a fancy hat and a fancy uniform. So different bands have different uniforms and they all match each other. The leader of the band has an extra fancy uniform. The leader is called the drum major. If you are in a band, you get to play a musical instrument. There are lots of different instruments in a band. They all make different sounds. So for your journal, you're going to decide which instrument you would want to play if you were in a band. Let's hear some different instruments. We're going to listen to the tuba first. Now let's listen to the trombone. Now let's hear the clarinet. Now we're going to hear the French horn and the trumpet. Now let's hear the flute. So which one did you like best? There were lots of different sounds. Some of them were high, some of them were low-pitched, some of them sounded louder, some of them sounded softer. Instruments can be played in different ways. To play a trumpet, you blow into it. To change the sound, you press the buttons or valves. Now let's listen to a trumpet being played. So we got to see how he pressed the buttons and blew into it to make the sound. You blow into a trombone too. Sliding the long loop in and out changes the sound. So let's watch how we play a trombone. It's going to be different than a trumpet because it doesn't have buttons. You have to blow extra hard to play a tuba. You have to be extra strong to hold one too. Look at how big that instrument is. Let's hear how it sounds different than a trumpet and a trombone. To play these instruments, you play these instruments by hitting them. Let's touch each one and hear how it sounds. So this time we're not going to see how people blow the instruments. We're going to hear how they sound when you hit them. We're going to start with the tenor drums. Ooh, very cool. Now let's hear the cymbals. Ooh, we crashed the cymbals. And the xylophone? Ooh. Now let's hear the cowbell. Very cool. These are percussion instruments. The drum lets the band members know how fast or slow to play and march. Whoa, that was some cool drumming. Each instrument adds its own special sound to the music. Now let's hear them all together. That was pretty awesome. So we heard all those instruments that you blow into, the brass instruments, and we heard the drums, the percussion instruments. There's a lot to think about when you're in a marching band. You must play the right tune, so they're reading the music notes. And you must keep your line straight while you march along with the music. So not only are they playing the instruments, but they have to march in a line all together at the same time. You can't stop playing your instrument, even when you have to spin around again and again to change directions. That was pretty cool. They were going in all different directions, they were making cool patterns with their lines, and they were playing their instruments. These band members have practiced hard. They're ready to march, and you can come too. Stand up and step high. Remember, we practiced marching in dance class. That was some great marching. The end. So remember, today for our journal, we're going to talk about what kind of instruments we would want to play in the marching band. We heard about drums, xylophones, cymbals, cowbells, tubas, trumpets, trombones, flutes, and clarinets, or French horns. All of those are instruments that you could play in a marching band. So think about if you were in a parade, just like we see parades on Mardi Gras. What kind of instrument would you want to play in the band? Go ahead and write it in your journal now.
Okay, our last thing today is I'm going to be drawing the name of who's going to be our Sea Star of the Week next, okay? Remember that you had to do Redbird, Dreambox, and Smarty Ants every day last week in order to be Sea Star of the Week. Now, we didn't have school on Monday, so it's going to be for next Monday, okay? I'm going to draw the name who at our next morning meeting is going to be our Sea Star of the Week. I have 14 names in here. 14 friends who did Smarty Ants, Dreambox, and Redbird every day last week, which is really awesome, you guys. 14 of you, that's really awesome. So let me find out who is going to be our Sea Star of the Week. I'm going to close my eyes so I'm not looking, and I'm going to draw one name. Okay, and next week's Sea Star of the Week is Miss Michaela. Michaela, I drew your name out, so you're going to be our Sea Star of the Week next Monday at morning meeting, okay? Now, the rest of you, you still have a chance to be Sea Star of the Week. You're going to have to keep doing your Redbird, your Dreambox, and your Smarty Ants. You can win awards every single day in our morning meeting videos. And then you can be entered into the raffle just like you were from last week to be our Sea Star of the Week, okay? All right, friends, keep working hard. I'm so impressed. We have so many friends who are doing their platforms every single day. And I will check in with you all later. Goodbye.